Okay, I'm John Gordon. I'm here with Kerri Walsh Jennings. We are here with the Power Positive Summit. And Kerri, thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you. You're a huge inspiration for me. You're an inspiration for so many people. So I would love to start out with just about your mindset. Like, you're known as 6 feet of sunshine. Where did that name come from? And were you always positive?
Oh man. Well, yeah, I aspire to be always deserving of that title. It may sound sometimes. I think I was born an optimist. I was certainly raised in a faith-based, very optimistic, make things work. It's all going to work out for you type of upbringing. Take nothing for granted, but always expect the best and work for the best. And so I think it's a bit of nature and nurture. And then as I've gone throughout my life, I certainly have lived certain points of my life where I have been more of a negative Nelly, and that just didn't serve me well. So what's the point? And, there's only, a handful of things that we can control in our lives. And I feel like our mindset and our attitude, is one of the biggest terminators of our success and our happiness, overall in life. And so I want to take the reins of my mindset as much as possible, regardless, unconditionally. I want to be unconditionally happy, unconditionally optimistic, regardless of the situation. So that's where it stands. My husband gave me the nickname 6 feet of sunshine. So it started out, he was trying to woo me and he won me right away. He called me that. I'm like, oh, I'll be your sunshine. And again, I aspire to be very sunny in my life, authentically sunny. But if I have to choose, I always want to be sunny.
How do you stay positive through the challenge that you have in life? Because, everyone looks at you, they'll think, oh, she wins all the time. Of course, it's easy to be positive, but you've also had setbacks. So how do you deal with those challenges?
I'm not perfectly, for sure, but I've had a lot of injuries in my career. I'm 38 years old. I've been playing sports since basically I got out of the womb. So injuries are part of life. I think how I frame things is one thing. Life is life and stuff's going to happen. Deal with it in the best way you know how. And I just, I'm just determined to make the best of situations. With every single injury, my mom's like, Kerri, there's an opportunity here. Work on your left hand. This is going to give you so many more tools to add to your toolkit. And so my life has been practically perfect, to be quite honest with you. The biggest heartbreaks in my life have come with the loss of loved ones. And that puts life and sport and my career in perspective in a heartbeat. When I was 7 years old, I lost a baby brother. When I was 18, I lost my hero, who is my Nana. My mother lost her father when I was 2. I've been surrounded by so much love, and I have so many angels up in heaven prematurely that I just feel like it makes the rest of life, it makes me appreciate it. And then it also just makes me take the hard knocks as this is a lesson to be learned, be grateful that there's a lesson to learn here, do your best. But I have my grumpy days for sure. Generally, I've noticed my hardest point in any adversity is just kind of the transitional moments, the gray areas where there's unknown. But once I know what's up, I'm like, okay, I got it. I have something to work with. But it's that dreaded, ambiguous zone where I'm like, oh, let me get my footing. But the great thing about that is that that's very temporary.
Right. Yeah, I'm a pessimistic optimist. I seem to get down at first, but then I get eternally hopeful about the future, about what's coming.
I like that. Yeah. There's so many ways to do it, and I feel like when people talk about stress or pessimism or, half glass full, half, empty, these types of things, it all serves a purpose to me. And it's like, whatever works for you, go with it. Don't do my way. Don't do your way. Do the way that works for you. And then eventually I feel like there's a natural evolution to your process, and you're going to figure out, you're going to fine tune as you go. If I'm doing the same thing I was doing 10 years ago, shoot me. In the foot, please. I do want to keep growing, and that process is a fun part of growing up, I think.
What have you learned over the years? What is one of the great lessons you've learned being a competitive athlete, the best in the world, the best of the best? What have you learned?
Oh man.
I know it's a pretty, wide range question. There's a lot of ways you can go with it, but one lesson.
Oh. Okay. I just had 3 things hit me right in the face.
Okay, all 3 are great.
Okay.
We'll go with 3 of
them. If you're going to do something, do it with all your heart. To me, that means don't hedge your bets. I've come across some athletes who reserve their energy in the tank just in case the game goes long. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know, if you go all out, you're not going to go the extra mile. Like, you're going to kick their butt early, you know? So that's one thing, go all in. Another thing is don't wait for the end result to be happy. I'm going for gold medals. You know, that's like truly all I want. I mean, not all I want, but that's my focus. That's stated. I don't need to, you know, keep saying that over and over. But if I wait to the gold medal match to figure out if I'm happy or not, I'm going to be miserable for the 4 years that it's going to take to get me there. I've learned that the hard way. I learned that on the way to Beijing. Every day my head was down and I was like, this is about winning, getting better. I almost lost my marriage. I was disconnected from my family. And we won the gold medal and I was miserable. You know? And then you compare that to Rio where I won bronze. And even though saying that out loud hurts me a little bit because I'm going for gold, that journey was so much more rewarding because I was so connected to my husband and my children and my people. You know, so don't just work for the end result. And then the last thing of a million things I could say is that, and how should I put this? Greatness doesn't come in isolation. And the toughest times in life, whether it's in marriage or for me in a partnership on the court, what I've come to learn is that when times get tough, you run together, not apart. And I learned that the hard way as well. But that's such a powerful thing for my husband and I. You know, when I am so upset with him, but I want him right by me. You know, like, let's get through this. We got that. Same thing with my partner. I don't want to figure out the problems on my own. I want to do it together because there's so much power there. Those are 3 really big takeaways that I've learned over my lifetime, and it applies to every arena, you know.
That is so powerful. I mean, greatness comes not in isolation, but together. Wow.
Oh man. Yeah, that's the good stuff in life. You know, I'm in a team sport. I'm in a family for a reason. You know, I want to learn and grow and love and enjoy every bit of it.
So on this journey, you've had a lot of people who have mentored you along the way, been there for you. Who's one of your heroes?
Well, I mean, I'll go with the standard because it's the top of the top, like not debatable, are my parents. And I say my parents collectively because they showed me the way how to do things right in life, in a partnership, in their careers as parents. So the way they role modeled how to live life with faith, with love, with integrity, humility, all these things is I aspire to live my life the way they modeled for me, do it my way, of course. But so my parents by far, you know, 41 years of marriage, 5 kids together, just been through heaven and hell together. And that's what I want in my life.
So were you the youngest of the 5?
No. I'm the dreaded second child. My brother's 11 months older. We're Irish twins, and I have 2 little sisters and a baby brother up in heaven. But no, I just lived the dream. I'm still living the dream, but my childhood was as, you know, Huckleberry Finn, as pure and beautiful as it gets. It was rad.
Were you born with this competitive spirit that you have? I know that you played state championship. You won some state championship in basketball and volleyball. You went to Stanford. Were you always a competitor?
100%. 100%.
Out of the womb, you were ready.
Out of the womb, yeah. I mean, watch out, world. I think I was roaring on the way out. You know, my parents are both really amazing athletes, like truly amazing. And their parents were amazing athletes. Both my grandfathers are in the Hall of Fames at, you know, in different places. My dad is my favorite mover, favorite athlete ever. My mom is little but fierce. She will wear you out and wear you down and beat you. And so I was just in this environment, and I had a big brother who challenged me, who let me win here and there, who unconditionally loved me and supported me. My entire family is that way. And so I was just surrounded by true greatness. We have, I mean, over 12, you know, NCAA collegiate athletes in my cousin family. I have a new so I'm one of 3 cousins now on my mom's side that have gone to Stanford. That's not like the end all be all, but that's really, I'm very proud of that. You know, what a great institution. So anyway, I'm just surrounded by very competitive people. I love competing, not so much because I want to beat people down, even though I love that, or, you know, get the title. I love figuring out what I'm made of, and I love growing, and I love the fact that I'm accountable to myself and to my teammates. So competing is so fun.
We often talk about, are you going after success or, excellence? What's the thing? It sounds like you're really driven by excellence to be the best you can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Success to me is a deeply, deeply personal thing. What looks like success to me is going to be so different than you. And to me, feeling successful means I'm striving for excellence daily. I'm not, half-assing anything. I'm going all in. I'm working hard. I'm challenging myself. And I'm accountable. So yeah, excellence is what I want to be. Sustained excellence. That's what I want in my life. I'm
Yeah.
30 years old. I want to just keep getting better.
I love that. Yeah, keep improving. There is no finish line. Just keep
No, there
moving.
isn't. Thank goodness, man.
So I asked you, your hero. This is the three H's. The other ones are hardship and highlight. So what's a hardship that you could point to that helped you become who you are today?
So I guess dang it. I'll put that, I guess, in the athletic framework. Shoot. I feel like my whole life was leading up to the semifinal loss in Rio. One of the best words that I've come to know to describe that situation of the loss is heartbreak. And I know it's not life or death. It's not that, but it's heartbreak because I cared so much. There's other people affected. I had a bad match. I have, like my ego, all these things. It was really hard to swallow. However, I've lost along the way many, many times. I know how to lose with integrity and grace. And I know how to come back from loss. And so I really believe that the opportunity that I had in Rio was to really put my money where my mouth is and to practice what I preach, which is, a loss doesn't define you.
Right.
And there's always tomorrow. Play with all your heart, regardless, unconditionally, right? And so Rio gave me the opportunity to do that on the world's biggest stage for my sport. After total heartbreak, to come back and fight with all my heart, even though it wasn't pretty, to do so alongside my partner, who I love and adore, it was such a huge blessing. And it'll serve me for the rest of my life.
I mean, yes, because you lost in the semifinals. You had lost the first set for the bronze, and you're down 14-13 in that match.
Yeah.
And then you made a play. You chased the ball.
Yes.
And then 14-14. And after that, you guys just came back and just dominated.
Oh, it was game on. That's what I was waiting to happen the night before. Because sports is all about momentum, right? And our sport is such a dance and rhythm. And I was having a tough night in one area of the game. And when that usually happens, I just focus on another area, something that's working well. And hopefully that mojo will transcend to my other parts. But that moment never came, and I was never able to stop that momentum and that trajectory that I was on. But I never gave up. And my mindset's always like, it's coming. I'm here. We got it. Didn't happen, But the next night, luckily, in the Olympics, you play for the bronze. And it came. And it came because we didn't give up. We stuck together, and we outlasted the discomfort. Discomfort is always temporary, unless you choose to live in it. And that's always a choice. And so we had that play, and that shifted things, and then we just seized the day.
You said it was one of your greatest wins ever, even more so than gold. Why would you say that?
I want to take off the last part you said, even more so than gold, because. Okay. I think I said that, and I think I meant that at the time.
Okay.
It was just such a meaningful win, period.
That's a great point. Yeah. Why was it such a meaningful win? Let's talk about
because that. It was so gnarly. I just don't have the words to describe to you as an athlete who, that's a singular focus, is to go and do your best in, in this tournament. And then to have such a, what kind of match. It's just like, what is going on? It's like my world was, shook. And I was like, I don't get it, but I'm here. Let's make do with it. And I felt so vulnerable, and I felt so exposed. But I've learned in my life that there's so much strength there if you lean on your people, if you look in the mirror in that moment, if you stop and be quiet and find some solitude so you can come to terms with what's going on, then you can address it. And all of those things happened. It wasn't a clean process. I was numb for a lot of it. But there's strength in vulnerability and an exposure. And at some point I started to play free. Once I kind of let go of overthinking, it's like, let go and let God. That moment happened for me. Thank goodness. And I want to just say my hardships, that's a hard thing for me to define. Cause I feel like I haven't really had any. I've had life, and been blessed with an amazing family and good health. And, I haven't experienced any real hardships. I've experienced challenges. But, so I don't know if I gave your answer adequate.
No, I think it's great because, I mean, being in a moment like that in front of the world stage, millions of people are watching. I mean, that is a hardship to deal with that when that is your profession, that is your life. And yet, what I admire so much about you in that moment, and I even tweeted about this after we didn't even know each other, but I tweeted, I mean, that's what a champion is all about. That's a champion mindset right there because, your identity wasn't tied to the medal.
Yeah.
You went out there and you competed like champions do because it was about the process. It was about being your best in the moment with your teammate and coming together. And through grit and resolve, you came back and won that match. And I read an article in the LA Times about this, and that's where you said about the gold medals. But I thought in my moment, like, wow, I was never more impressed, never admired a champion more than that moment.
Oh, well, that's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to absorb that.
Yeah.
Try not to deflect it. No, I really aspire to live that way, and through the good and the bad, and I know winning with that grace is just as important, maybe more important. And I appreciate that you saw that. Yeah. And I'm glad that I was able to act in according to my values because,
Yeah. And I think that's such a great learning experience for so many people watching this, because we have a lot of teachers who actually take part in the summit and then they share this with their students. So a lot of teenagers and kids will be watching this and they're going to learn from, you're going to have adversity, but it's how you come back. Yeah. You said that you know how to, when you lose, to come back. How do you come back when you lose or when you have a setback or an injury or anything in life? How do you come back? What's your mindset on that?
Well, I just never stop. It's like there's a loss. Okay, that's a loss. Like recognize it, recognize what you want to take from that loss. And it's like, what's next? That's kind of my mentality always. And it's like a loss to me is kind of an anomaly. I've been so fortunate to have amazing teammates and coaches, and we win a lot.
Right.
And so losses to me, they stick with me the longest because they don't happen they happen too much, but they don't happen too often. And those are my biggest learning lessons, so every loss is truly an opportunity. And it just is what it is. So I know what I want. I want to be the best. I know that I don't want to allow a loss to define me or to hurt my self-confidence or my performance moving forward, because I really do believe a champion mindset is that of resiliency, is that of, despite the obstacles, despite a loss, a setback, like you're always going to work for forward momentum. And I believe in all that stuff, and I want to live what I believe.
Yeah.
And I have people reminding me that I have greatness inside of me. And that, on my toughest days, I have a partner who believes in me. I have a husband, children, Mike Gervais, who we both know, who has changed my life in so many ways. The tough parts are just part of it. And so it's like, there's an opportunity here, learn from it, move on, and let it make you stronger.
That's great. What about a defining moment in your life, just something along the journey that you can point to that made you who you are today, just a defining moment?
Okay. After Beijing, this is a life moment, if that's okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. I had just won the gold medal. I was about to give birth to my first child, Joey. And I'm literally having contractions in the chair, sitting across from Michael Gervais, psychologist.
Yeah.
And my marriage is falling apart. And he's like, okay, what are we here for? And I'm like, I took a deep breath and I started crying, and I'm like going through a contraction. He's like, what took you so long to get here? And I start bawling, and I'm like, man, this is it. Like, I need to have reckoning with myself earlier on in the battles. I don't need to walk a million miles with a pebble in my shoe to say things need to change here. And him asking me what took so long was such an awakening to me. Like, I'm in control of this. I just wanted to power through, and, like, my husband and I are going to get through it. And I wasn't taking it for granted. I was just doing what I knew. Right. But that question was just like, what the hell am I doing? Like, Kerri, what are you doing? You're here to live a beautiful life. Like, it's not all about the gold medal and the athleticism or, being your greatest. And platform. It's in your whole life. Like life matters more. And so he kind of put my life in perspective in that moment. And I was like, what am I doing? And what did take me so long? And since that moment, I've been on a mission to never settle for okay, and never, get so comfortable in the down parts of my life. I want to grow through them as quickly as possible, but I want to learn from them authentically. But that was a very big turning point for me, sitting down with him and him telling me to look in the mirror and being like, what got you to this point?
Isn't it amazing that we have to have grit in our personal life, just like athletics? We have to have grit in our relationships. I call it relationship grit. I think about, my wife and I were talking the other day, like we stayed together through so many challenging times, but we had to have relationship grit. What are your thoughts about relationship grit?
It's essential. I mean, clearly life is life, and there's so many things that come at us that are, unexpected and you can't plan for. And relationship grit is put it like, I want to buy that book. It's been, not even, I was going to say especially for parents, but that's not true. It's just relationships require diligence and love, and you need to be unconditional with your support for each other, and just to be okay through those challenging moments. And what I learned kind of that day one moment with Gervais, he was like, Kerri, don't be afraid of friction. He's like, that's intimacy. And to me, like, I would shy away from like bringing something up because I didn't want it to come to a head, but it's like, no, like that's part of the grittiness, like engage, because that means you're together and you grow together. But if you just hold your tongue and are passive aggressive or however lame way I was dealing with it, like everyone suffers. And so I think relationship grit is a beautiful thing. I was just with a dear friend the other day, and he's become someone I care for so much. And he's like, she heard a woman speak, and he said that new parents or, newlywed couples should not be able to divorce until after their kids are 5 years old, because it's so gnarly. It's like, and to me, that's like that mindset. Like, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be harder than you ever imagined. But what are you in it for? Are you in it for an easy time and for a feathered nest? No, you're in it for the long haul and for that growth together. You're not in it just for the sunshine moments, So that to me is like the hardest. When I thought my husband was out the door and our marriage was over, that the worst time of my life became the biggest blessing in my life. And it will serve us forever. So I appreciate relationship grit.
I love that. So the third H is the highlight. So would that be the highlight then? That moment that it all came together?
Yes. Yeah. And there have been many duplicates of that highlight reel, because we went through that, because we both committed, we're in that, when we were in that tough time. And I don't want this all to be about marriage. Because like whether you're a teacher or a partner, a law firm or on a team, it's just, this applies across the board. It's just like, what do you remember who you're doing this with and why you're doing it and what's at the heart of the matter. And once my husband and I both stopped pointing fingers and started going like this, it like changed the entire game, and I that's said all the time. It's just to live that and to remind yourself of that is a challenge in relationships, but it allows you to get through those moments so much quicker than pointing the finger, because you have no control if you point the finger. If I'm waiting for you to make me happy, I'm going to be waiting for a long time. It's just, man, it seems so simple, but it's so challenging sometimes.
It is. My motto is the more I love my wife, the more I love my life. It's not happy wife, happy life, but it's like, you know what? I'm just here to love her, and I'm not going to expect anything in return. And that's my job, is just do the loving. And then if she responds, great, but I'll always be happy with me knowing I gave my best.
Right. And she's gonna feel that and give it back 99% of the time. I mean, we are women and we are crazy. But love trumps everything.
You just nailed it. So now we're talking about like relationships. So going from, positive mindset. So positivity is a mindset, but it's also positive actions to make others better. Like positive leaders make everyone around them better. So people have influenced you on your journey. What are you doing now to influence others? How do you like to influence others in a positive way? Like, what's part of your journey right now that you're doing that?
Well, I like to, I think, lead by example. And simply because I want to be accountable myself, and I really want to be an authentic person. I don't want to preach. I want to be an example, and be proud of myself for doing that. I've been fortunate to align myself with amazing people doing amazing things. You know, Mike Irwin, the Positivity Project,
Yeah.
is something that I am so amazingly proud to be part of. I'm on the board there, and you know, he's changing the world, and he's bringing this curriculum of positive psychology, and you know, kids working on their character strengths and seeing them in others, you know, all around the nation, and we need that so much. And
Yes.
it all comes down to that. You know, if you're all about positive psychology and mindset, if you have self-worth, you know, it allows you to be more compassionate, allows you to just be more confident and live this beautiful life. And so that's probably at the top of my list of what I'm really proud to be doing right now and supporting his cause. And I really want to be an advocate for everything he's doing and get that to be, you know, global would be amazing, but certainly throughout America. Yeah, but other than that, you know, I'm using my sport as a vehicle, you know, I don't know. I just want to be a positive influence. You know, I'm not here to shake the world necessarily. I want to live a good life, and I want to inspire people and be inspired along the way. And so, you know, it's not kind of a strategic, concerted effort on my part. I'm really been so blessed to connect with the people I've connected with, and to be able to support the initiatives I support, but it's more they're doing the hard work and I'm showing up and smiling and be like, do this, it's amazing.
When you meet younger volleyball players, younger athletes, and they say they want to be like you, what do you tell them?
I said, shoot higher than that, first of all. No, I say be you, please. Like if they're inspired by me, that is the most humbling thing. It makes me want to go straight to the gym and like get better and, you know, go to church and say thank you. And it makes me want to be better when I hear that from people. But at the same time, it's like, oh, that's so limiting. Don't be me, you know, be you. Your superpower. I love that quote that's out there. Your superpower is that you are you and no one else is you. And, you know, I look at my kids and, you know, they're like, I want to be like that kid, or I want that. And I'm like, babes, God picked every freckle, every hair on your head. Like he made you from top to bottom. Do not disrespect God and love yourself. And, you know, that just because so much is possible if you do that. So, yeah, it's really fun to be a parent because you just, you know, it's the filter, you know, it's like, I want to be the best role model for my kids, and they reflect back to me what I'm putting out there. So
has being a parent made you a better teammate?
I hope so. I don't think about that one. You should ask my teammates. I want to say yes, without a doubt. It's made me a better person. So yes, it has to have made me a better teammate. I feel like it's made me better in every single area, really, because I'm more accountable. You know, I was so inspired before I had kids, but now I'm inspired to the nth degree, and I have a bigger purpose in my life, a bigger focus in my life, which is really, really nice to be less self-absorbed. I was exhausting myself before. But yeah, my kids have made me better in every way. And I hope my partners would say.
Oh, I guarantee it. What kind of positive future do you hope for? I mean, when you think about the future for your children, is there a visual that you can point to?
You know, my positive future is just a strong, safe America that is back to our core values, you know, of freedom and individual initiative. And, you know, we create our own destinies, manifest destiny. Like I believe we're a special country. I believe that we're all, you know, created equally. I believe that we all have the opportunity and the ability to create the lives we aspire to live. And I want my kids to have the opportunity to create the lives they aspire to live. And, you know, I'm so blessed to be an American, and you know, maybe it's the Olympian in me, but I know how I've traveled the world, and I know how blessed we are. And I know I respect the world and other cultures so much, but there's nothing like coming home. And so the future I see for my kids is that the ability to create the life they want to live and to live it joyfully. Yeah. In a beautiful, safe world.
Well, Kerri Walsh Jennings, I really appreciate your time today. That was just amazing, great learning experience for me and so many others. Any final thoughts before we close?
Oh man, no, I'm sorry. I feel like my brain is like, can you see my brain? Like if there were like the thought bubbles, it'd be like, so I apologize if I was inarticulate, but no, I'm grateful to be talking to you. It shows me that I want to be more precise in my language around all these
You're
things.
amazing. No, this is incredible.
Oh no, I loved it. I love your questions because they're the questions that matter, and it's the stuff I want to think about. You know, the juicy stuff in life is the real stuff. And I'm really proud of the movement that you are leading. And I'm here anytime you need me, for sure.